Right, well, good morning, good afternoon, maybe good evening, depending on when you're watching this. This is lesson 3. So in the previous lesson, we looked at word processing vocabulary. In the next lesson, we're going to look at general application and operating system vocab. But today, in this lesson, other office application vocabulary. Okay, so not word processing, but other office application software. So here we are, so lesson 3. So when we talk about other application software, we're talking about things like Microsoft Excel, maybe Microsoft Access, Microsoft PowerPoint, not just Microsoft as well, of course, yeah, but maybe we're using LibreOffice, maybe we're using StarOffice, yeah, so other office application software. But we're going to start by looking at spreadsheet vocab. So here we've got a screenshot of a spreadsheet application, which will help us complete the sentences. And here we've got how many sentences? We've got 13 sentences. So a basic spreadsheet. So we're going to use our general knowledge. We're going to use Google if we really have to, but we're going to try and use our general knowledge. Some of these definitely aren't the answer. Ladder is definitely not the answer. And we're going to try to work out the answers then, and then we're going to check the answers together. So this is a screenshot from, if you use Excel, you'll be familiar with this. If you use, I forget, maybe Google Sheets or something, this looks kind of familiar. Right, so number 1, a basic spreadsheet is a something of spaces for data. Is it a grid? Is it a cage? Is it a ladder? A spreadsheet consists of columns, so these are columns, A, B, C, D, and something. Okay, so lengths, lines, or rows. A grid is called a worksheet, so this is a grid or a worksheet. A file containing one or more worksheets is called a what? A workout, or work, or a workbook. In the worksheet above, the something is in column B, row 3. So what is this? Is this the important cell? Is this the active cell? Is this the focus cell? What do we think? We can use the mouse pointer, so this is the mouse pointer here. Use the mouse pointer to select a single cell or a bunch, group, or block of cells. It's easy to adjust the column what? So what can we change here? The column size, the column width, the column space. Spreadsheets can perform mathematical calculations, mathematical deductions, mathematical jobs. To get a worksheet to perform a mathematical calculation, you have to enter a format, enter a form, enter a formula. A number of spreadsheet cell, a number in a spreadsheet cell is often called, is it a digit, is it a numeral, or is it a value? To remove the contents of the cell is to clean, wash, or clear that cell. To remove a complete row is to wipe, delete, or erase that row. What do we think? Changing the fonts, the colours, etc. of a spreadsheet is called the formatting, forming, or reforming. Alright, so I want you to pause the video now, circle A, B, or C, write it into your booklet, and when you're ready to check, resume the video and we will check together. Okay? Alright, okay, so let's check. So a basic spreadsheet is a grid. Yeah, and we have this answer here, really. If we're very smart, we can see the answer here. A spreadsheet consists of columns and rows. A grid is a worksheet. One or more worksheets is called a workbook. Yeah, we have sheets of pages in a book, so it makes sense. It's called the active cell. Yeah, it could be called the important cell or the focus cell. We call it the active cell. To select a single cell or a group of cells. A group, or we can also call it a range, a group of cells or a range of cells. It's easy to adjust the column width. Okay, so how wide the column is. Yeah, is it just narrow or is it quite wide? They perform mathematical calculations. You have to enter a formula. It's called a value. Okay, so a number in a spreadsheet cell is called a value. And not just a number, but anything in a cell is the value of that cell. To remove the contents, you clear that cell. You delete a row, and it's called formatting. Okay, so maybe a little bit challenging, yes, but it shouldn't cause us too many problems, I think. So that's some very useful vocab about spreadsheets. When you're happy, let's continue. Okay, if you need more time, you can pause the video, but let's move on to presentation software. So things like PowerPoint, Google Sheets. Does Google Sheets have does Google have a presentation software? I'm not sure. Okay, but anyway, in Microsoft PowerPoint, when creating a presentation, you can choose between a blank presentation, a design template, and the presentation what? The presentation which, wizard, or bogeyman. If you don't know what a bogeyman is, use Google Images. A PowerPoint can be used to create slideshows, picture shows, or exhibitions. You can choose a changing effect, moving effect, or transition effect to move from one slide to another. You can include moving pictures in your presentation. These are called films, movies, or animations. You can choose a color pattern, color arrangement, or color scheme for your presentation. You can give your presentation over the internet as an online broadcast, online show, or online spectacle. What do you think? It's usually clearer to present statistics in the form of a table or a chart, figure, or track. If you wish, the software will help you practice the times, rehearse the timing, try out the times of your presentation. Quite difficult, that one actually, number 8, quite difficult. You can choose to record your narration, your speaking, your voice on your computer. Also quite difficult, this one. Number 8 and number 9, not straightforward. You can choose to record your something on computer rather than giving it in real life, for real, or live. Okay, so pause the video. Circle ABC, write the answers into the gaps, and when you're ready, resume the video and we will check. Okay, so it's called the Presentation Wizard, which will help you get started. It's used to create slideshows. It's called a transition effect, moving from one slide to another, so that's called a transition effect. They're called animations. Yeah, they might be films. You might have part of a film in a presentation, but it's called an animation. You can choose your color scheme. So whether your slides are red and blue or black and white. You can give it over the internet as an online broadcast, usually in the form of a table or chart. These 3 are quite difficult. Will help you practice the times, rehearse the timing, try out the times. They're all okay actually. Let's have a look at the answer key. Okay, so we'll help you rehearse the timings. Rehearse the timing. Practice the times. Practice the times. Rehearse the timing. Yeah. Try out the times. No, rehearse the timing is better, but it's quite a difficult question, this one. You can record your voice. Okay, we record our voice. That's a strong collocation, rather than giving it live. But yeah, each of these three, 8, 9, and 10, there's not the clear answer that there is in the other questions. This is clearly chart. This is clearly online broadcast, and so on. These last 3 questions are a little bit more nuanced, if you like. But still, some essential vocab here, some very useful vocab here for when we're talking about presentation software, for when we're using presentation software. Okay, when you're happy, we'll continue to image editing software, so things like Preview or Paint. I think Microsoft Office comes with something like a photo editor. So vocabulary related to this. So we've got some functions and we've got some definitions: to crop, to sharpen, to soften, to zoom in, to zoom out, to flip, to rotate, to touch up, to clone, and the aspect ratio. And we've got some definitions here: turn an image left or right, reverse an image, improve the appearance of an image, the proportional representation of its width versus its height, for example 16:9, copy part of an image to another point in that image, view part of the image in more detail, view more of the image in less detail, make the image less blurred, make it more blurred, and remove part of an image. Okay, so pause the video, try to match the function with the definition, and when you're happy to continue, resume the video, and I'll give you the answers. Right, okay, so to crop, to remove part of an image, to sharpen, to make the image less blurred, to soften, to make it more blurred, to zoom in, view part of the image in more detail, to zoom out, to view more of the image in less detail, to flip, to reverse an image, to rotate, to turn it left or right, to touch up, to improve the appearance, to clone is to copy part of an image, and the aspect ratio is this, the proportional representation of its width versus height. So this is an example of the aspect ratio. So we can see the size of the page here. I can make the page bigger, but the aspect ratio remains the same. We never change the width without also changing the height. So I can make this small, but every time we make it smaller, the width and the height both change together. Yeah? We never just change the width, we never just change the height. So that's an example of the aspect ratio. Yeah? And that's why when we're printing photos, we can print it on paper this size, or this size, or this size, but the aspect ratio always stays the same. Right, okay, well, we've got some more vocab here about image editing software. So, I'll read these for you and then we'll pause and make the answers. It's usually possible to import or introduce Adobe PageMaker files into Adobe InDesign. The majority of text design applications can export or send off documents. So this is kind of all about collocations. Do we export a document or do we send off a document? As PDF files or HTML web pages? A frame graphic or block of text is known as an object or a thing. Not very scientific, is it, that, a thing? These are arranged in levels or layers. The top layer, so we have the answer, the top layer, overlaps or overruns the layer below. Full bleed or total bleed means that the page is printed right up to the edge of the page. There are no white margins. The snail or the slug area is the area outside the area to be printed where instructions for the printer are written. This is quite difficult. You might need to use Google for this. Before a document goes to press, goes for printing, it's essential to check the examples or proofs. Like desktop printers, most colour printing machines or presses print in 4 colours: cyan, which is light blue, magenta, dark pink, yellow and black. Before printing, a document must be divided into the 4 colours. This process is called colour separation or colour division. These separations are turned into plates or stamps, one for each of the inks that will be used. Again, quite difficult. The process, prior to colour separation, so again we have the answer here, so colour separation. Prior to colour separation, coloured images, graphics and text have to be transformed or converted from RGB, red, green and blue, the colour format the computer displays, to CMYK, so cyan, magenta, yellow and black, the colour format of printing presses. The process of preparing documents from a graphic designer for the printing press is called what? Reprographics or reproduction. Okay, definitely not very easy this. So use Google to help you. Pause the video. When you think you've got the answer, resume the video and we will check together. Right, I'm going to use the answer key for this to make sure I give you the correct answers. So we import files. That's a strong collocation. Import files, and we export documents. So these are quite strong collocations. It's an object. It's not a thing. Okay, things. It's very. It's a very casual noun. A thing. So an object. They're arranged in layers because we have the answer here. The top layer overlaps. Okay, so it's on top of. It doesn't overrun. Overlaps. Overrun is kind of about time. A full bleed and the slug. Yes, these are quite difficult. Before a document goes to press. Goes to press. For printing is also acceptable, really. It's essential to check the proofs for errors. Colour printing presses. So a printing press, called colour separation, we know that. They're turned into plates. Text is converted. Okay, so again, another collocation. We convert text. And it's called reprographics. Okay, so some quite difficult vocab here. We're getting a little bit more challenging now. If you need more time to look at this, then pause the video and go onto Google and better understand this before you continue. But if you're happy to continue, let's press on. Old Office software used to include things like Microsoft Access. I'm not sure you get Microsoft Access with Office software nowadays. If you have LibreOffice, I'm not sure if that comes with any database software. It might. It's been quite a long time since I used LibreOffice. But here we have an example, a screenshot of some very, very simple Office software. So, using the screenshot, what's the query here? So the query is kind of the question that we want the database to answer. So is it select star from customers? Is it Jones Henry? Or is it Progress SQL console? We can see that. We can see that here. So what's the query? What do you think? Which database table is being queried? Database table. Now, I don't expect you to know the answers to this, but I expect you to be able to have a good guess at the answers to this, to use the screenshot and to turn our heads on, and to maybe we can see something that it's not, and maybe that helps us understand what it could be. Yeah? So which table is being queried? Is it customers, is it customer, or is it data? What do you think the star means? So here, what does the star mean? Does it mean everything? Does it mean nothing? How many results has the query returned? 3, 4, or at least 4? It's probably about this area. How is the results set ordered? By customer name in ascending order? Customer name in ascending order. By ID number in descending order. What's descending? What's ascending and descending? Maybe use your dictionary. By ID number in ascending order. And what's the function of the semicolon character? To tell the server it's the end of the statement, or is there no function? Okay, so pause the video, have a think, and when you're ready to listen to the answers, resume the video. Okay, so what's the query? Select star from customers is the query. Which table? Table customers. Spelling very important. What does the star mean? The star means everything. How many results has the query returned? We can see 4, but there might be others, so it's at least 4. How is the result set ordered? It's ordered by ID number in ascending order, so the smallest to the biggest. Descending means the biggest to the smallest, so not that. So this is the answer. And what's the function? To tell the server it's the end of the statement. Right, and so we continue, yeah? So lesson 3 is quite a big lesson. So looking at email vocab, yeah? So if you're using Outlook, or even if you're using Gmail or Bing Mail or whatever, this is still useful vocab for you. So we've got the from address, the to address, CC, and the BCC, and we're going to learn what these mean. So this is the subject, this is the text body. So read the statement. Is the statement true or is the statement false? Okay, so the recipient is Anna. The sender is Anna. Bernard knows that Carol knows when Anna will be arriving in Kayseri. Bernard knows that Dave will see this email. You can say that Anna CC'd her email to Carol. Is that true or false? You can say that Anna BCC'd her email to Dave. The subject line is empty. The style of the email is formal. CC stands for carbon copy. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. Carbon copies were a method of making copies typed on typewriters. Okay, so have a think. You can, of course, use Google. Are these statements true or are these statements false? Pause the video. When you're ready to check, we will check together. Okay, the sender, the recipient is Anna. So the person receiving the email is Anna. No, it's not. The person receiving the email is Bernard. The sender is Anna. Yes, that's true. Bernard knows that Carol knows when Anna will be arriving in Kayseri. So we can see here. So Bernard can see that Carol has been CC'd. Yeah? So Bernard can see that Carol has been CC'd. So yes, Bernard knows that Carol knows. If she's seen the email, of course. If Carol hasn't seen the email, then she doesn't know. But we can assume that Carol has seen the email. So she knows when Anna will be arriving in Kayseri. Bernard knows that Dave will see this email. No. Bernard does not know that Dave will see this email. So Anna BCC'd this email to Dave, but Bernard does not know who was BCC'd, who was blind copied. Yeah? So that's false. Bernard does not know that Dave will see this email. You can say that Anna CC'd her email to Cal, that's true. You can say that Anna BCC'd her email to Dave, that's true. The subject line is empty. No, the subject line is this, arriving in Kayseri. The style of the email is formal. Hi Bernard, I'll be travelling to Kayseri, you don't need. It's not very formal. Hi Bernard, exclamation mark. We've got some contractions here. I can get a taxi, you don't need to. See you soon, another exclamation mark. It's not very formal, no. CC stands for carbon copy. Yes, it does. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. Yes, it does. Carbon copies were a method of making copies. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. Yes, it does. Yes, that answer is incorrect. Okay, I need to fix that. BCC does stand for blind carbon copy. Carbon copies were a method of making copies of documents on typewriters. That is true. Yes, okay, so there's a mistake there. That is true. I will fix that. Right, okay. Well, the last task of this lesson, to complete the paragraph using this vocab, so attach, browse, field, systems, send, and size. So I will read it, then we will pause, you will put the answers in, and then we will check, and that's the end of the lesson. So, you can send almost any file as an attachment, full stop. Something through the folders on your computer until you find the file you want to attach. Click on something, the file will appear in the attachments, something. Add more files if you wish. When you've finished adding files, click something. Some email, something, will only send or receive attachments up to a certain something with one email, for example 10 megabytes. If you need to send a lot of very big attachments, it's sometimes necessary to spread them over a number of separate emails. Okay, so try to put this vocab into these gaps. Pause the video. When you come back, we will check the answers, and we're finished with with lesson 3. Okay, so you can send almost any file as an attachment, browse the folders on your computer, click on attach, will appear in the attachments field. Add more files if you wish. When you've finished, click send the email. Some email systems will only send or receive up to a certain size. Right, okay, well in this lesson then we've looked at quite a lot. We've looked at spreadsheet software, presentation software, database software, image editing software, and email software, so quite a lot. If you need to review and revise this vocab, then please do so. In the next lesson, we will look at general application vocabulary. So application vocab not related to Office software. Yeah. Okay, but that's for next time. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.